My name is Carmelo Kastronetsky, and we are interviewing
Tariq Snare.
And this is for Displaced Urban Histories, Professor Rebecca Amato, 2017.
As everybody knows, MVP is a workshop. It's a musician's workshop. So that's what we doing. We working on our shop, getting our stuff together for when we do our gigs. So we still working it out a little bit. That's what MVP is about.
We started like September and October. Like the end of September was our first like workshop. So what MBP is, Morrisania Band Project, brings any musicians that respond to the ad. The ad was on Craigslist, and it was on Facebook. So we got a lot of responses from a lot of people in the neighborhood, like musicians in the neighborhood, like you've seen. A lot of these cats are from the Bronx, from this area, from Melrose, from Morrisania, from Castle Hill. A lot of Bronx natives responded. So, everybody's just showing their musicianship and sharing their musicianship, in Morrisania with this program, which was started by Elisa Carmona. She's a definite Morrisania Melrose native.
Mm-hmm.
She was born and raised here, and she was interviewed as well by another one of your colleagues. I know that's going to be a good interview because she's a diehard Melrose person, and she connects her music. She has a love for music. She has a love for her neighborhood, and I think she was born in Staten Island and she grew up here, So her and her daughter, they love the Bronx, man.
Mm-hmm.
She's part of the Bronx Council of the Arts, which we have a couple of performances coming up, and she's just very active in the community. And I wish she was right here with me so she could give me some information for you and stuff. But
through this project, what's the goal? What's the
goal of this project is to give musicians a platform to work on their craft, to go out to make a living as a musician. Basically, it's a place to conglomerate with other musicians and share and do jam sessions and get your workshop on. It's a workshop, so we work on our shop, so we can go out in the field. A lot of these musicians are musicians that don't have gigs, that do want gigs, and we encourage getting their resume together on who they played with, and working on specifics. Like we have a vocal coach that comes out and teaches vocal lessons, and it's any level of musicianship. You don't have to know all your chords and everything. We have a lot of beginners, and they're getting a lot better already. So the Morrisania Band Project, the main goal is to give musicians a platform to strive in their instrument and to meet other musicians, and to act as a workshop and a network for musicians to get gigs, because so far since we've been together since October, we've had about 4 shows. We've had about 4 performances where musicians that wouldn't have had a gig before, now they have a gig because of Elisa's project, MBP. And I just think it's a positive thing. I'm her musical director, so I try to bring my expertise. I'm a graduate from Music and Art High School, which was in Harlem.
Yeah, take me through your history.
Okay, I could do that. Right, I graduated from Music and Art High School in Harlem. I traveled from Brooklyn for the first time to go to high school, on the train and everything, to the specialized high school where you had to take a test And a lot of my friends who were musicians in Brooklyn, they didn't get in. So when I got in, I had to make a whole group of new musician friends, but it was amazing because you had musicians from the Bronx, from Manhattan, from Queens, from Staten Island, from everywhere, you know. And I joined this crew. My first year as a freshman, I joined this crew called the Five Borough Crew. Now, hip hop was just being born when I was in high school.
80s, right?
Yeah, like in the early 80s. In the early 80s,
Yeah,
I was in high school.
starting
It just started hip hop. I'll tell you a couple of the people that went in my graduating class was Slick Rick and Dana Dane. These are pioneers of hip hop. In the Five Borough Crew, we had people from every borough, and for every weekend, we would go to a different borough and a different party and a different borough and different party one weekend. But it was 60, 70 of us getting on the train at one time, going to this party. So we would like take over the train, you know. And when we came down the street, it was amazing. It was nothing but rappers and musicians and artists. So it was a very artistic kind of time of my life. You saw the movie Fame. I don't know if a lot of people saw the movie Fame, and it was based on the school I went to. It was LaGuardia High School of Music and Art. So music and art was one school of LaGuardia, and performing arts was another school of LaGuardia. But now they have a new building where they both came together, where they've come together. And people like Alicia Keys have gone to the school. Nas's ex-wife, what's her name? Khalees. I used to play with Khalees as well. All right. I'll tell you a couple of people I used to play with over the years too. Played with Keith Sweat, PM Dawn, Kool and the Gang, Queen Latifah, Amel LaRue, Groove Theory, Lettucey.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been around for a minute. With PM Dawn was one of the biggest groups I ever played with. We went on a tour with Peter Gabriel. It was a world tour. He has a world tour called WOMAD. It's World of Music, Art, and Dance. And it was Peter Gabriel, Talking Heads, Sinead O'Connor, Ziggy Marley, Lenny Kravitz, Youssou N'Dour, and PM Dawn. And we went, it was like for about 9 months. We just went everywhere. We went to so many continents, so many cities. That was the biggest time of my life, man, you know.
Yeah.
So from that, coming from PM Dawn, you know. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Nah, we good. It's all good, brother.
What's happening, Tariq?
Mike.
My brother.
My brother. This is my brother, the singer, Mike.
Let me over here.
He's one of the main singers in MVP, and he's from the Bronx.
Yeah, from the Boogie Down.
He's from the Boogie Down Bronx, and he knows the importance of music and hip hop and R&B, the roots of hip hop and R&B in the Bronx.
That's
Because if it wasn't for the Bronx, the rap wouldn't be going
Exactly.
on. So tell me where you from.
I'm an OG from Patterson Project, South Bronx, the
Right.
South Bronx.
Right.
The home of Nate Tiny Archibald.
Right, Nate Tiny
You know,
Archibald, no doubt.
the home of Iran Barkley.
Right, okay.
You know, the boxer. You know, we all came up together. And I'm an OG. I know I look good for my age. I'm an OG, baby.
I'm not even gonna ask you how old you
I'm
are.
63 years old, man.
Wow.
And I'm still out here doing my thing thanks to guys like this here.
Wow.
This guy is one of the best drummers I've ever played with. And I played with a lot of drummers.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate
And I know this is true. This ain't I ain't stroking his ego, none of that. I'm telling it like it is. This boy is dynamic. Now, I'm a member of the legendary Escorts. We've had bands through the years, and drummers and guitar players and all. This guy here is like he's like the truth. You know when guys say this guy's the truth, this guy here is the truth.
He's
You
gassing
know?
it up a little
No,
bit.
seriously,
I
you
think
know,
a little bit.
no, you know why? You know why I say that? I'm gonna tell you
appreciate
what. I've been in the game long enough to say that. You know, I know when guys, you know, the great ones. You know what they do? They do what they do. He do stuff I ain't never seen him do before. just,
It's natural.
you know, he ain't a show off. You know, a guy that ain't that good, you know what he do? The best thing he could do, he gonna show you right away. I do this. And you go, okay, what else you got? You know, it's like somebody say, is that all you got? Yeah, nigga, that's about it. You know, this guy comes out with something new every rehearsal, every showtime is his time. That's when he really shines, and I hear it, and I know what I'm listening to. There's a lot of people. 80% of the people around probably ain't on what I know. When I'm listening to him,
he brings up everyone with him too.
You know,
when I saw
and
it there.
that's what he does.
Yeah.
He's the like the
orchestra.
the meat in our sandwich. He's the meat in our sandwich. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm serious, and this guy is so. Then you know what's cool? When you good or you great, but you are humble about your talent, that makes your talent come across even more so. He's humble with his talent. He's not one of these dudes that's I play with some drummers that think they the baddest drummers that ever lived. And not that they don't suck. They are good. They are good. But they blow their own horn. So when you blow your own horn, you give expectations. People are going, okay, show me what you got. He never does that. I still don't know all of what he got. Because every time we do a show, I see more. He'll show me something different. And other people don't see it. All they hearing is the drummer. They know they can't see his hands when they moving so fast. But they say, okay, we seen that before. But no, it's called rudiments, right?
Rudiments, of course, man.
The rudiments that he does are so precise and so on point and unexpected that it makes everything else sound better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, it puts everything else in perspective. You know what I mean? It's like if you have a sandwich and you put like mayonnaise on it and you eat it, it tastes delicious, right? He's Miracle Whip though. When you put Miracle Whip on a sandwich, it go bow. I love Miracle Whip. I'm not
it's
a
because of
mayonnaise.
my love. You love music, Miracle Whip. I love music. I have a love for the game of music.
I already know.
And being a musical director and pulling things together and just giving my ideas and my experience, man. Yo, I've jammed with Paul McCartney on stage at Earth Day in Los Angeles. I've jammed with Stevie Wonder on stage at the Cellar Restaurant. He loved coming to the Cellar Restaurant back in the day. And I could just say that I've jammed with these people, man. And I could see how they handle themselves up there, and I've learned a lot, man. I've learned a lot. I'm passing it on.
See what he just said? Now I performed on the same stages with the Temptations,
no doubt.
with Ray Goodman and Brown, with the Stylistics, with the Delphonics, with the Intruders. With Peaches and Herb. These are all the people that I've actually worked with, been in the same dressing rooms. You know, and I got pictures to show, but that's not to say anything about, you know, like name dropping or anything like that. But that's just to say that when you're around greatness, it'll rub off on you. Mm-hmm. If you talented enough to absorb their gifts. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes you have to, it's not about you all the time. It's about what you can do or what you can share with somebody else.
It's a chemistry.
You know, like
chemistry.
he's actually playing with artists that are lesser than him. I know that. He know that. I'm saying with people that, you know, that I'm not saying they can sing.
It's not about them being lesser. It's about them having determination to be greater. And I just want to share what I can.
No, what
and
I'm
help
saying,
them out.
I don't mean lesser. I'll take that back. I'll take back the lesser.
I know what you mean.
I'll take back the lesser thing.
Less experience.
Less experience. They don't have the experience. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the, you know, the tools that he has. You know, or the reach. He can reach back and pull something from something he's already done. Been there, done that type thing. A lot of them can't do that. But now they can say, playing with a guy like this, they can say, I played with Tariq. You know, I played with Tariq.
Thinking about you for quite a while. You're on my mind every day and every night. My every thought is you. The things you do seem so satisfying to me. I must admit to you, and I like it. You send chills up my spine every time I take one look at you. And I like it. Girl, you're blowing my mind with the thing you say to me. I like the way you comb your hair, and I like the stylish clothes you wear. It's just the little things you do that show how much you really care. Like when I'm all alone with you, you know exactly what to do. You put that fire inside of me that makes it more than just a dream. I like it. Send chills up my spine every time I take one look at you. And I like it.
And y'all don't know. There's some drummers out here that I know that he know. People that I know that's good. He already know them. He already knows them. Everybody, seems like everybody I know that I say, yo, this guy's good. He said, you talking about so and so? He don't already played with him. But anyway, I'm gonna let your interview
Yeah,
go
thanks.
on
I
there.
appreciate
God
that,
bless
Mike.
you, bro.
No doubt.
And you the
You
man.
about to be out?
Yeah, I'm out of
Okay,
here.
all right. I'm gonna hit you up during the week, man.
Okay. Okay.
There was a nice show tonight,
you
man.
do that. You did your thing, man. Like
We
always.
all did our thing. We all did our
yeah,
thing.
we did, man.
We did our
You know?
thing. And it's the video's gonna come out nice enough for us to use and to put on YouTube so the rest of the world could see and they could hire us. You know what I mean? The Morrisania Band Project up in Melrose. That's how we do it.
Trust and believe what I tell you, man.
No doubt.
You the meat in this sandwich, man.
All right, man.
right.
Keep telling everybody that. So
I'm trying to tell you, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Peace, brother. Peace. Yeah, that's cool. Now, what he just said, with all these musicians coming together, like back in the day when I learned my essence of playing when I was like 16, 17, and 18, I was coming to Melrose after school on a daily basis. This is where, Melrose is where, I call Melrose the South Bronx because Melrose is part of the South Bronx, right? So I know South Bronx is made up of a bunch of different communities and Melrose is one of them. And I used to definitely come up here. This is where I met Keith Sweat. This is where I met Johnny Kemp. This is where I met GQ. These groups, all of these groups and artists I played with are from the Bronx. GQ, one of their big hits was Disco Nights. When disco was big, like in the 80s. This is where they're from, man. That was a huge hit. It was a multi-platinum single. And Raheem was the lead singer. And he's definitely a Bronx, Melrose, South Bronx native. And I learned a lot of my stuff from him. So everything I have with me now, it started in the Bronx, man. It started in Melrose.
What is it from the Bronx? What is it from this area that was able to transpire it into the music that created
The streetness of the Bronx, man, is like people that have like no money, you know, don't know where their food is coming from for the next day. They have this inner talent where when they sing or when they play their instrument, those blues and that hunger just comes out. And when I was up here, it was about hip hop and R&B was on its way up. And so many artists like Grandmaster Flash and Curtis Blow, all these guys from the Bronx, it developed hip hop. The Bronx is the mecca of hip hop, is the birthplace of hip hop. So after high school, when I was deep into hip hop with the Five Borough crew, with Slick Rick and Dana Dane, all these guys who were in my class in my school, I graduated and I went on to LIU. At LIU, that was a different change. Long Island University, that was in Brooklyn. I know Prince started getting big at that time, and hip hop was taking another realm of positive hip hop, and fight the power hip hop or Public Enemy and stuff. And then there was another realm of R&B and pop with Prince. He was fusing the rock and the genre of the kind of sexy and funky and all that stuff together, and that I had a lot to do with me too. So my styles were gelling over the years and just intertwining with R&B, soul, hip hop. Then when I went to LIU, I started learning jazz. So I started playing jazz more. A lot of my because my major was jazz and classical. I majored in classical and jazz at LIU. So after I graduated from LIU, that's when I started touring. PM Dawn, Kool and the Gang. After Kool and the Gang kind of split up from JT Taylor, was the lead singer for Kool and the Gang. Kool and the Gang went this way, JT. I went with JT. I was playing with JT Taylor for a few years after they split up. And but right now, most recently, I've been the musical director for Native Deen. Native Deen is a Muslim hip hop group. I hope you can look it up. Just go nativedeen.com.
No, I definitely
you did?
I have some paperwork.
Oh, that's good.
I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Specifically, being that they're a Muslim group.
Yeah.
Did you grow up Muslim or did you convert?
I converted to Islam. Yeah, I converted to Islam after 9/11, like in 2003. Because one of the members of Native Deen is married to my cousin, and my nephews are his father, right? So he's one of the members of Native Deen. So I was around Islam a lot, and with after 9/11, everybody was like, "What is this Islam? And what are these Muslims hating America so much? Why 9/11 had to happen at all?" And I just did my own research, and I found out there was nothing about Islam, and these are just terrorists. It had nothing to do with a religion. These are just terrorists. In my opinion, terrorism is an act of gaining power and gaining money through fear and violence. You know what I mean? People have been doing that for years, since the Nazis and since communism and before that.
Interrupt.
Yes.
I'm gonna walk Ron to my house to drop off his keyboard. So you're by yourself here. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're coming back?
Yeah.
And you're gonna close the front doors, right?
Yeah.
And lock both of those doors?
They're gonna be locked.
And nobody's gonna be here. Nobody else is gonna be here.
No.
Is that room locked? Is the office locked?
I'm locking when we put everything away.
Okay, great. Did y'all take those tables? Did y'all put those 4 tables back out?
No.
All right,
I can't do the tables.
I'm gonna handle that when I finish this.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so what was your question specifically?
So Native
about-
Deen being a Muslim group,
Yeah.
and spreading the word of Islam.
Right.
When you converted to Islam,
Yeah.
did that affect your music? Did that change the way you were going?
Definitely, it added a whole nother genre and realm to my music, to my style of playing, because Native Deen travels to the Middle East a lot. Like we've gone to Kuwait, we've gone to.
Is that how you've ended up at these where you're teaching? You're teaching
on my workshops.
drumming, exactly, workshops. Thank you.
Kind of, yes. Because the State Department, Native Deen was working with the State Department. The State Department has a cultural affairs section that shares their culture, shares the American culture with other countries, and that's the that's the trade-off. We have embassies. We have U.S. embassies in like every major country, every country in the world, except a couple like Iran, a couple of the hostile countries that are hostile to us for whatever reasons, like Iran, North Korea, and maybe a couple of others. But every other country has a U.S. embassy, and they also have a cultural affairs section where part of having an embassy in their country you agree to share cultures and you agree to share a lot of things. So as I'm working with the State Department with Native Dean, they like what I was doing because I work with kids a lot, and I have a book called Kids Can Play Hip Hop Drums. I can show you the book.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is a book that I wrote and illustrated. This is not the best copy. This is getting kind of worn because this is my promotional copy that I show a lot.
Yeah.
And it's called Kids Can Play Hip Hop Drums, and this is volume 1, the snare drum. It's written and illustrated, self-published by Tariq Snare. And it's basically a simple book for kids, and it shows it encourages them to learn how to tune their snare drum, how to play the snare drum, and it has an urban figure, that they can relate to. And some of the kids are as young as these. These are some of my students.
Will you bring these to the countries you go to?
Of course, I've sold not even sold. The State Department buys hundreds of my books, and I give them out at the workshops.
I love the art.
Yeah, thanks, man. This is show you how to hold your drumsticks. There are 2 ways to hold your drumsticks. Boom, match grip like this, traditional grip like that. And it shows them how to read notes.
So what is? I'm very curious.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm very curious. What is it that they ask you to share in terms of culture with these countries?
Hip hop music is an American art form,
Right.
Because it was born and raised in America, right? So I'm from New York. They know the hip hop is from New York, so they figured I knew something about hip hop because in my solo shows I do old school hip hop beats. I call it Beats and Rhymes Live, right? I do old school hip hop beats where I rap and play beats at the same time. And they love it, man. Every time I've done it, I get more gigs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Heard about? Yeah, yeah. It's been a long time. I should have left you with extra rhyme step 2. Think I have any weak show just left you. Time's up. Sorry I kept you. Keep your beat your fist. The rhyme from the microphone solo with. So you sit by the radio and on the dial so as you hear it, pump up the volume.
And they encourage me to go to different countries, the State Department, to share what I have. And what I do is I fuse genres. I fuse the genre and the instruments of the country I go to with American hip hop. So we'll have djembes and sitars and all kinds of foreign instruments playing with hip hop. And everywhere we go, there are hip hop artists, like in Indonesia. In Egypt, they're rapping in Arabic. In Indonesia, they're rapping in Bahasa, in their language. So it was so successful. I even went to Iraq. I went to Iraq.
Wow.
Iraq was in 2014. That's right before they took over a lot of like Mosul and started moving into Baghdad and taking over. Things started getting messed up. I went right before that. And one of the pictures I sent you was from one of the posters. And, I went to a lot of schools there. They have a school for ballet and jazz and stuff like that. And in Baghdad, it's just so sad that a lot of the things had to be broken down with, But, yeah, that's...
How does that incorporate back to coming back to the Bronx and spreading music here?
Well, when I come back here, I share my experiences. I share my experiences with my students, with my workshops. I do workshops here in New York too. I do workshops up and down the East Coast. I'm always doing workshops when I travel with Native Dean, because Native Dean, when they do their shows, it's mostly family orientated shows. It's not like a club. Like when I was young, I used to do a lot of clubs and a lot of concerts. There would be no kids there. There would be alcohol. They would sell alcohol, and it would be more like a concert. Like people are coming to drink and have fun, enjoy the music, like a regular rock concert. That's what I grew up playing. But after I took Shahada, after I accepted Islam, the shows that I play now are more family orientated. Whole families come to these shows. And that's why I wrote this book, because the kids always look at the drums. Kids always love drums, and they're like this.
1, 2, 3.
always a group of kids at our shows, and I give workshops before the show, and I sell drumsticks after the show, and I give like little lessons to the people that buy the drumsticks, and it stuck with me. You know, like tomorrow I'm going to DC, and I sell drumsticks after the show, and the kids that buy the drumsticks are the ones that get like free workshops, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so these are the drumsticks that go with the book like this. So this is just part of my self-publication.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm self-funded, you know. So I'm just looking for people to donate and help me out. So I'm raising money to write volume 2. This is volume 1. It actually is a book series. Down here it says book series. So this is volume 1. Volume 2 is going to be, I'm working on it now, it's going to be kick, snare, and hat.
Okay.
Volume 1 is just the snare drum, concentrating on the rudiments and the snare drum. Volumes 2 is going to be kick drum, snare drum, and hi-hat. So basically what I do when I go on these tours, I come back with what I've learned and share it in my workshops, you know. And my connection to sharing it in the Bronx is what I'm doing right now. Like the show we just did tonight here in the South Bronx. There are some kids upstairs that heard it, and they just came down, and 2 of them happened to be drummers. They're 2 brothers. One is 8, one is 12, and I fixed their drums for them. You know, fixed their drums for them. Now they're upstairs playing drums, and they were broke for a long time. So now I have new students. You know, I gave them a pair of sticks and stuff. So
I wanted to go
yes.
back to the your history. We broke that up for a second.
Okay.
When you were in university, IU, was it?
LIU.
LIU.
Long Island University, right? Okay. What's your specific question?
Just where did that go to where you are now?
Right. After I graduated from LIU, I actually became a teacher in the Board of Education in New York City. I was teaching language arts and social studies. So I got my bachelor's degree in music, and my ultimate goal was to become a music teacher, like in Brooklyn or the Bronx or Manhattan, anywhere. But each school only has one music teacher. They have like a band teacher and a vocal teacher, and it's hard to get a position. But they have a bunch of language arts teachers, bunch of math teachers. So I ended up being a language arts and social studies teacher on a junior high school level. That was like for about 5 or 6 years right after LIU. So that's what I did with my bachelor's degree, right? But in the meantime, at nights I was playing gigs, you know, as a musician in the clubs, like Cafe Y I was doing, or the Blue Note I was playing. You know, the Apollo Band. I played with the Apollo Band, the Showtime at the Apollo with Ray Chu for a while too, and it just started. I couldn't even teach anymore. You know, the gigs just started piling up because my love for music was showing through my hands. You know, and I was just getting better and better because of my love for music. So then I just started, like I said before, I went on tour with PM Dawn. That's when I was in my mid-20s. You know, world tour. This was so big. We had like 3 tour buses. Every country we went to, we had new tour buses. And we just driving. We had our own TVs and VCRs in our bunks. It was just such an amazing experience, man. You know, seeing Lenny Kravitz doing a sound check is one of the most biggest experiences that I've learned in the music business. You know, seeing how he works on each instrument at a time, and each instrument has their own tech, like a bass tech and a guitar tech, and they get that sound right, then that sound, then 2 of them play together, then 3 of them, and I just learned so much. And that's what I do. That's what I'm sharing, things that I've learned, like on tours with Lenny and Ziggy and stuff like that.
So we're getting towards the end.
Yeah, it's cool.
I want to know, for you, this is a deep question, but what does music mean for you? What does it mean to you?
To me, music is life. Music is my life, anyway. You know, I've had chances to destroy my life. You know, because in New York, in the 80s and the 90s, at the same time that hip hop was coming up, something else was coming up too. It was crack. Crack and drugs, hard rock, cocaine hit New York City really hard. And all these people that had no money, no jobs, no education, all of a sudden they're driving Mercedes, BMWs, buying brownstones, and this is all from selling drugs on consignment. They were giving them these drugs. I saw it. These people from wherever it was coming from, I'm telling you, I don't know where it's coming from, but it was being fizzled down to the community where these young boys were selling these drugs on consignment, and then they would owe the person that they were getting the drugs from. And half the time they were getting shot up and just turf wars or getting arrested, right? So that like killed a lot of the community, like in the hood, in the Bronx and Brooklyn and Queens. You know, I just saw it really tear up, and I got caught up in that too. I got caught up in wanting to make money, all this money, making $5,000 a night and stuff, and you know, being arrested was part of my history on learning the ropes of the streets, and basically I learned my lesson. By being locked up, I learned my lesson on leave that stuff alone and to focus more on my music career. And that's exactly what I did. Yeah.
And so
I didn't see that actually.
You didn't?
No.
It just says don't incriminate yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just in case.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's cool.
So music became your life.
Music became my life.
Everything. It pulled you out of the negative.
Pulled me out of the negative, man. I had nothing. That had no rope. I was being swallowed up by all of these people with these material things and all this power, all this respect, all the girls. All the girls were looking at people with the brothers with cars and with gold chains and with nice clothes. And the only way they were getting that, they weren't college graduates, they weren't doctors and lawyers, they were street drug dealers, you know what I mean? And they were making this money, but they were getting the respect and everything, and I wanted the respect too. I'm just a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So but the music was the rope that pulled me out of that. I had nothing, I had no other rope. I had nothing else going on. So the music, my love for the music and sticking with it, you know, ended up getting my degree, doing positive things, being a teacher. I love working with kids, man. So music really saved me. And I tried to live in LA. I moved to LA for a while, you know, when I was going back and forth a lot. When I was playing with PM Dawn and Amel LaRue and Groove Theory, I had a chance to play on television a lot. I did the Tonight Show. I did Jay Leno twice with PM Dawn. I did Arsenio Hall with PM Dawn. I did a few BET things with Amel LaRue, but a lot of people saw me on TV and stuff, and that just made me feel even better, like, yo, I have to stay with this music because it has a future. So I never went back to anything negative, you know. And
after we end,
yeah,
or before we end, excuse
yeah,
me, is there anything you want to say, anything you want to wrap up on, or?
Yeah, I just want to let anybody who's listening know that no matter how old you are, how young you are, if you have an intrinsic love for music and just think, oh, I used to play, nah, I don't play no more, I just have a job, it's never too late to just go and pick it up. Even if it's not for an audience, even if it's just for yourself, it's therapeutic, man. Music is therapeutic. There's something so special about, I can't even find the word.
I say magical.
Magical, yeah, but it's definitely magical, and it's a universal magic, because the music that I play, I meet so many people that don't speak the language, never saw me in my life, but when they hear me play, you know, my stuff on the drums, I get their attention, and they want to learn how to do what I do, you know what I mean? So, music is life, man. Music is my life. Music is my life.